Hey, welcome back to Bob Thoughts. This one been kicking around for a little bit. Currently, I'm in an RV store, waiting for our RV. It's getting new leaf springs, and then I got to get a tire alignment down the street. Crazy when you live in a house on wheels. I mean, all houses need work. It's just weird to have need tire and leaf spring work. Anyway, sorry, those weren't my thoughts. I mean, those are my thoughts, but so tears and prayers. So this came from a quote. Started with a quote, and the person was not a Christian, which for me is fine. But I know for some, if you knew who it was, you'd be like, "Oh my God, it's the devil!" But I didn't think so. Anyways, so I started doing some research and into where tears come from, what causes them, and researchers pretty much all agree that tears come from the same place, and they are the results of being overwhelmed with emotion. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's nervousness, sometimes it's joy, and sometimes it's anguish, pain, internal emotional pain or physical pain. And the body physically starts to cry because it has basically, it's like a release valve. It's really quite beautiful the way the Lord made it. So that just brings me all the way around to this application of that mindset. There's a level of prayer, intercession, some would call it, that's called, they call it like travale, where you cry out, wail, where you are almost traumatized by the weight of the heart of God towards something. His heart is broken over something, and you cry and wail, and I don't want to take anything away from that, but it often is presented in the old wineskin. So it's presented like a hierarchy. So if you can intercede at that level, like you're kind of a step above the normal intercessors, and you're way in front of the people that just pray for things. And so people sometimes will work themselves into this travail so they can cry when they pray. And some people get there quickly, some people don't. And that's true with tears. Some people cry faster than others, whether they're laughing or nervous or afraid or in pain emotionally or physically. They'll come to tears faster, and some take a lot longer. So it's the same. Tears all come from the same place. So that got me thinking about the travail prayers, and that got me thinking about joy and laughing tears. And I thought you could get to a place where the joy of heaven is so amazing to you, where you start, you see a circumstance, or you see the direction of the philosophical, direction of the church or the government or whatever, art, media, like and rather than feel the heartbreak of God, you feel the joy of heaven from what heaven wants to bring to that circumstance, or that situation, or that the results of that philosophy. Like you start to laugh at the plans of the enemy to the point where you start to cry, and your overwhelming sense of God's goodness and hope and joy brings you to a place where you just start to, maybe you start chuckling, and then you start to laugh, and then you just can't stop. And rather than being embarrassed with, I'm not praying anymore, realizing that your tears are prayers of recognition of God's goodness and recognition of the power of love and light to overcome the darkness, where you're not in tears over the fact of how dark something has gotten, but you're in tears over joy, with joy over the fact that light is coming. Where you're not in tears over the judgment, which again is just the exposure of what darkness has been doing. So you are overwhelmed with joy over what light is doing, that it is expelling the darkness, and it literally makes you so happy that you start to cry. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Like I was never interested in becoming, like, when I see people, and I've seen them in travail, in tears, in prayer, and I think, well, Lord, bless them. Like, but I am not interested in that level of intercession. Like, if that's a level, which again is hierarchical language, so I don't think it is a level. I think that it's just a thing that's possible, and some people get it and some people don't. Then so is joyful prayer, where you just start to smile and giggle at the darkness because you know what the Lord's going to do, and you see the light coming, and you see how it's going to revolutionize the world or that circumstance or that city, and you can really enjoy it, and you can pray from a place of joy. And if you break into tears of joy, that's legit, because tears come from the same place. And those are my thoughts today. Anyway, sorry, my dog's in here, so I didn't know what he was pulling on, but he's back now. Yeah, so I love you guys. Thanks for listening, and hope you enjoyed it.